Hello and welcome to episode 144 of Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast, the only podcast that truly sparks joy. I'm your host, Antony Chesson, and joining me this week is someone who is totally crushing it in the crocheting with his adorable piñatas. It's Mr. James Thomas.
Hello. How are we doing, Antony?
Not too bad. That was almost too many words for me to get out in the intro, but I did it. Got there.
It's all right. You managed to slip up after the intro, so
yes.
We nailed it. It's fine.
I nailed the intro.
It's now just banter.
I need to breathe. Breathe during the
So
breathe.
have you been watching Marie Kondo?
We've watched two episodes. We've watched two episodes. So we watched the one with the annoying people in the first episode, and then the other one with the hoarders, the Japanese couple, the old couple who just had room and room full of rubbish. And even when it finished, you know that was a house that Marie Kondo wanted to go and sort out. You know, even after it had finished. But we've only watched two because it kind of makes Nicola mad. Let's just leave it at that. So it just
in what way? In what way? Just like the people who are requesting Marie to come in, or how she operates when helping them sort their stuff?
No, I think she absolutely adores Marie, and who couldn't? Because she's like a little anime character. You know, her little squeeze.
Adorable.
She is absolutely adorable, just like someone's piñatas. She is just like, even when she makes those noises, you expect like little anime sparks to kind of come out of her. You know, it's just kind of, you expect some animation, but no, I think it's just the people. I think it's the people and why do they live like that? And I think especially the first couple, because it was all about tidying, and they instantly kind of turned it to themselves. You know what I mean? They were like, well, I haven't been a very good father, or I haven't been and it was just like, who are you people? You know, but yeah, so we've only watched two because it sparks joy, but then sparks anger.
See, I missed the first one. I said, Ali, you can watch that. I don't think this is going to be something I want to watch. And then it turns out the entire internet apparently has watched this since we came back from Christmas. So I felt I had to get back in. So I need to go back and watch the first one. But I think it gets better. It might get better for Nicola as the series goes on, because they seem to be less hoarders and more just wanting advice as how to store and organise their life. Because I think I came into it thinking that Kondo was just going to get rid of everything, burn it all, stuff is bad. But then, she shows you how to fold socks and organise your closet, as I am now calling it. And yeah, it's interesting, because I tweeted out the other day that I can... It resonates with me for portions, like this sparks joy. Because a good few years ago now, I just basically had a panic attack about how much stuff I had. Like literally just it wasn't even like a hoarder mentality. It was just more like I feel like I have enough possessions, and just the special edition game packs that you get, like the amount of games that I've got, the DVDs, just like the little figures from Forbidden Planet I've got around the place, and I just had a tiny freak out and go no, I need to cleanse this back down. And so while I had no idea of the Kondo method, there was a proper case of going what do I actually enjoy, and what do I have just bought because I think it's cool.
Yes.
That the differentiation between you can go around Forbidden Planet and go, I want all these Mario statues.
Yes.
And just doubling down on the things that I really liked. So there was part of me, as soon as I started hearing that what the Kondo method, maybe I could learn more. Maybe I could just refine this process. So it's been interesting to see that she isn't just get rid of it all.
No.
It's she has rules that are guidelines, because there are a few episodes where she tries to curb people from jumping to... There's a lady who lost her husband, and she tries to allow her to get used to the process before dealing with her former husband's stuff.
Yes.
But you could see it's no, she wants to... She's mentally built herself up for it. So, okay, we'll bend and break some rules for you this instance. So... Yeah, it's interesting. But also, I just love snooping around people's houses.
Yeah.
It's the same way I love a good right move gander every now and again. Just poking around to see how people do their houses,
That's
how
so
they store
funny.
everything.
That's so funny. That's awesome. No, absolutely. Like I said, I think we will kind of continue. I think we will kind of continue watching it. But I think it was just the first two. They were probably going for the shock value to kind of get you to kind of watch more. But like I say, the first one was just crazy. It was just absolutely. But the second one was, the house was just so messy. I think because Nicola is, she'll kill me for saying it, but I think because she is a bit of a neat freak, I think we're both quite neat and tidy people, and I think just seeing all that mess kind of just makes her on edge. It's just like seeing that much mess, and even with the second one, but that older couple, kind of looking outside in their garden, and there's just boxes of stuff, and even at the end, there was still in the main bedroom, there was just boxes kind of piled to the ceiling, but it was nice, neat boxes, and I think it was that kind of stuff that was just like Nicola wanted to go to their house and put up a wardrobe and kind of hide it and do stuff like that. So yeah,
have some Kallax, sort it,
put it in cupboards. But we are, it's quite funny because maybe this weekend, maybe next weekend, we're going to kind of do that because a lot of our wardrobes have kind of they're just, we want to buy new stuff for this year and things like that, but there's just a lot of, I've got lots of t-shirts, I've got drawers and drawers of t-shirts, some I'll never fit into ever again, some I just don't like anymore, but I keep them, so I need to kind of like employ that method and kind of really kind of, if it doesn't spark joy, exactly, if it doesn't spark joy, I'm going to purge it, I'm going to get rid of it. So, but I think it's really interesting. It's really funny, actually, because just before Christmas, I think someone at work had the book, and they were talking about that, kind of about organising and the whole kind of spark joy, and it was just an interesting kind of conversation, just hearing it. But actually, kind of, I like the way that they're doing it with the Netflix show, because it's a really good format, to, like I say, to have a snoop and also to really kind of get to grips with all of her methods.
Yeah, I think it's like a nice light covering, and the fact it's only 25 minutes long, I think works, because I don't think you could do an hour show. Like, even if she's the cuter version of Kim and Aggie, I don't think it would work.
No, but it's just, it's great. It's absolutely superb. Like I say, it is, it does spark anger, but it also is just fun to watch and just laugh at these people also. So what else, James? We haven't spoken to you for ages. What else have you been up to?
There was, Tiny Matter of Christmas and what have you. But actually, over New Year, we did something really awesome. Went away with Manny and a few other friends to a cottage in the middle of nowhere in Wales.
Wow.
Like, at one point, Manny and I went out to the pub, and we had to go 3 villages over to find the nearest pub. That's how desolate it was.
Wow.
Went for a run, almost turned my ankle about 1 billion times because it was nothing but farm tracks. But it was really good because we just got completely away. It was quite secluded, so nice and quiet. And because of just how remote it was, we didn't really have to worry about, I guess, annoying the neighbours, because the nearest neighbours, bar the Airbnb owner that we were with, were like 2 miles down the road.
Right.
So it was good. We just got away for a few days. Took a Switch, so played some Mario Party and some Smash, where we'll get to later. But we also did our own personal Taskmaster series. So have you seen Taskmaster on Dave?
I haven't, no. I know of the premise and I know of the show, but I haven't seen it.
So for people who don't know Taskmaster, the show consists of one comedian host, as it were, and his sidekick, and they then set a panel of 5 comedians, just weird tasks to do. It could be, here is a GPS device, go and draw something using your, just like walking around on it, or get your clothes as far away from each other as they can in London, and then you see people just like jumping on buses or handing pedestrians their socks and asking them to run away from it, or like perform puppet theatre with 2 potatoes, just like really random stuff. And everyone who went away just was really like the show for a long time. And Ali and I are new to this, but these guys have done it before. So we had one taskmaster for the 4 days we were away. And so every now and again, she'd just walk in with her phone blaring the theme tune, hand someone an envelope, and then the task would start.
Oh, wow.
Excitement would kick off. What's it going to be this time? So we had a couple of pre-prepared ones that we could take stuff with us. The first task was bring the thing that's nicest to touch and feel, something along those lines. So I'm glad it went. The thing I took, it could have gone one way or the other. I took a large clump of bunny fluff.
Right.
Like from when we've been grooming the bunnies previously, we've tried to put them in like a peanut feeder for the birds. So if they want them for the nests, they can take it. So I brought those in, and Shep really loves her pets. So that went down really well. It's like a soft bag of fluff. Ali took a blind bag minifig for Lego. So it looks like the crinkling, the furtling, try to find it. That went down well.
Oh my God, that's lovely.
Shep's boyfriend completely forgot about the task, and so seconds after the envelope was handed out, had to run into the garden, find the nicest rock he could find, and then just brought back into the living room. Didn't go down well. Didn't go round well. But yeah, then we had like things like what's the best cocktail you can make, and he made up ground with that one because he'd got like an IV bag full of gin and toffee sauce and stuff like that.
Wow.
And, we had a hide and seek. Like, you've got 100 seconds to hide, and off we went into the distance. There's actually controversy around that one though, because Manny and I were about to run down the farm path to try and get as far away from the house as possible, where we just saw the car keys and went, pub. So while everyone else was hiding around the house, we just went off and had a couple of games of darts and a pint.
Oh, that's
and
so
then,
cool.
Came back. Apparently that's not hiding though. Apparently driving to the pub isn't classed as hiding, so we got hot water for that. But someone else almost knocked themselves unconscious by taking off their jeans and jumping into the hot tub that was outside and pulling the cover back over them. Not recommended for long periods of time. But it was just a ridiculous weekend where things like that would just come out of nowhere, and then it was just a great way to see a New Year's.
My God, that just sounds so awesome. That's just incredible. That hot tub, was it full? Did it have water in it, or was it empty?
Oh yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Phil almost passed out. I think he pretty much gave himself up in the hide and seek so he could actually breathe again.
He's like, I'm here. Oh, that is so cool. So was there a winner? Was there like was there awards? Did you get a trophy, James?
I didn't get a trophy. I think I threw too much of a strop after the pub being not hiding debacle. I was happy with where I placed, but Manny's better half, Faye, managed to take the trophy.
Right.
And so she's won the honour of being taskmaster for the next time we do all this.
It just sounds so much fun.
It's so if you honestly, if you get a few friends together for an evening, a weekend, or anything like that, this is well worth doing.
That is just so cool. That is awesome. Superb. What a great way to show the new year in.
Yeah, absolutely. Super. Hopefully going to do the same again next year. As long as there's a hot tub, I think we're good to go.
Superb. That's where Steve is at the moment. Steve, I don't know about the Sparks and the hot tubs, but I think Stuart's got one at his house, hasn't he? And Steve's in deepest, darkest Cornwall at the moment with a hot tub. So
I don't know if that's the nearest hot tub to Yorkshire, because he's always going down to that bit.
I know. I think that's it. I think that's the first. You turn left and there's the first hot tub is in Cornwall. Superb. So what else have you been up to?
Well, this year I've been trying to get on with I don't like to call them resolutions, but like New Year goals.
Yes.
So one of them is I want to attend to more like paleontology and geology lectures. We'll get the drier one out the way first, but I've always had a passion for dinosaurs, and so this year I want to try and learn more about the actual science behind it. So Birmingham University, they do lectures like every other week, and so I've been trundling along to those to have a look at, and it's fascinating. I feel so out of my depth though at this point in time. Is that just trying to get in with the lingo, the science terms, and just so it's that just trying to bed in to it all. But you also go through the university and you just realise like I'm pretty much twice as old as I was when I went to uni now. And it's like, it's the whippersnappers. It's covered in whippersnappers, this university, honestly.
You're just walking down the corridors going, pull your trousers up, tuck your shirt in.
The best one, like, if someone hands you a flyer, it's like, yes, someone's mistaken me for a student.
There you go, sir. There you go, sir.
Pass this to your son. Yeah.
So tell me, have you worn your Jurassic Park t-shirt to these lectures? Please say yes.
I wore a dinosaur jumper the other week.
Awesome. So excellent.
Slightly embarrassed to do so, but yeah. That's going to be continuing, and that's good. But the other thing I've been trying to kickstart is my Viva Piñata crochet that you've hinted at. Last year, Ali taught me how to properly crochet, and so I just went off piste around the autumn time, going like, I've done enough with the patterns that I've read. I want to try and make my own thing. So basically just riffing with wool. Yeah. Like in the same way that I've got a load of Lego and quite happily start making, little triceratops or maybe a tank, sort of like a horse-drawn carriage, that sort of thing. I've just started trying to do the same with wool and just chose Piñata as I know it, and also it's lots of bright colours, which is always helpful. So, but it's got to the stage now where I want to try and share them. So I've started writing up my scrawlings, turn them into proper patterns, and sending it round a few friends and friends' partners and even parents around work to see if what I've written down actually makes sense to someone else. So that the whole aim is that I want to really try and sell them for charity sometime before the end of the year. So this is just trying to get that ball rolling. I mean, I don't know what the Venn diagram is of crocheters, Viva Piñata players, and charity donations, but I'm willing to do this scientific study for special effect to try and figure out what's going on.
That is awesome. And I must admit, whenever you put them on Twitter, especially at the weekend, I think where you put a shot of all kind of 5 or 6 of them, and they were just
the family photo.
Yes, it was just so it was just adorable, and they make you smile just looking at them. There's some
thank you,
there's
sir.
some really good. Your Fizzly Bear is just awesome. It's just like you look at it and just go, oh my god, he's just so. And I'll stick a link in the show notes to your Twitter page because it is so much fun. They look so good. I can't believe that only last year that you were just kind of starting it. Now you can kind of produce these, and I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I had my first lesson. Actually, I got it in the diaries 51 weeks ago yesterday, so it's like less than a year at this point. But,
wow.
I think it's like the spatial, like what do you call? I don't know, like just the ability to visualize what I want because I've been playing with Lego for so long. I go right. A 2x2 brick is like this in wool, and it's that conversion strategy that I've been working with.
I love it. Lego accounts for everything. That's just amazing.
Yes. The way the world goes round.
Exactly. Yeah. You see everything in Lego blocks. It's like the Matrix, but the Lego version. But that's just so cool. And that's really nice that, like I say, that you're trying to put the patterns together and kind of sell them and like for special effects. That's just such a great way to just kind of share the joy.
Yeah. Nothing's set in stone yet, but that's the goal for the year anyway. So. But yeah, I don't think I'm the only one that's been creative. I hear you got a new toy at the weekend to start flexing your creative muscles.
Oh, I did indeed. It's quite funny. It's one of those things that I've just wanted for so long. And it's one of those things where I've always I've wanted it for just so long. And what I got on Saturday was a KitchenAid artisan mixer, I think they're called. So the big you kind of see everyone kind of using it. It's that very kind of big mixing bowl. You see it in a bake-off. And I just wanted to just kind of go that next step. I wanted one of those to start baking. I want to bake more this year. So I was watching a couple of cooking programs, and I'm like, right, I'm going to make that. And they all use a KitchenAid. They all use that kind of KitchenAid mixer. And I was saying to Nicola, I want to make those. And all I've got is really kind of a hand mixer, some Pyrex dishes, and that normally means chaos in the kitchen. There's sugared butter up the walls and flour everywhere. But it was just like, so I said, my birthday's coming up, and also a couple of years ago, Nicola bought me the Ghostbusters firehouse, and I haven't built it. So I haven't built the firehouse, and I know the look on James's face. I haven't. It gets worse because I've sold it.
What?
I haven't built the firehouse, and we're just going to redo the office where I am. And I was looking around. I was like, I don't have space for it, and
it doesn't spark joy.
It doesn't spark. There you go. It doesn't spark joy.
That's fair enough.
And there's some other things that I quite like. So I just put it on eBay. So I stuck it on eBay. Didn't get much more for it, really. I just kind of, I think it was probably about another extra 20, 30 pounds. So that was kind of in my PayPal account. And when Nicola and I was talking, she was like, well, I can give you some money towards it for your birthday this year. And I was like, I've still got the birthday present from a couple of years ago. So we combined the cash and we just kind of went for one. And it turned up on Saturday, and I think I said on Twitter, I was new console level happy. I was just, so when the guy turned up, I was like, it's here. The DPD guy who I was tracking via the app around Tunbridge Wells. I'm like, come on. And it was just so cool. Unfortunately, I got it on Saturday, but then I needed to go out, get some ingredients, and also Nicola had an eye test. So we kind of, by the time we ended up doing that, I just kind of had it out on the side, and I was ready, and we found a nice spot for it in the larder on a shelf, so it looks really cool. And then so Sunday morning, woke up, and then I just started making some cookies. So the kind of first kind of cookies I've always talked about, but never kind of made or could never find again. It's the ones that you get from Doubletree. So if you go to a Doubletree hotel, when you turn up at the Doubletree hotel, they have a warm drawer, and they pull out your cookies, and they're like,
so at reception they have like a proving drawer at reception.
They have a proving drawer at reception.
Oh my!
So they are. So we were in Seattle. So we had a long flight from, I think we were in San Francisco and we went to Seattle. So we had a moderate flight, couple of hours. Got there, got to the hotel, and they were like, "Here you go, Mr. and Mrs. Chesson. Here's your cookies." So I had this cookie, and then we were in the elevator. We got to the room. Of course, it's Seattle. They had Starbucks coffee in the kitchen, like in the kind of, it was like almost like espresso pods, but with a Starbucks. So I sat there with a Starbucks and this warm cookie that was oats, raisins, and chocolate chip. And you never normally get the same mix. You normally get oat and raisin, or you get chocolate chip. You never normally get all three in the mix. And I think that's just like a DoubleTree cookie. And so I was like, right, my first thing I want to make is I want to make a DoubleTree cookie. And they were just slightly too much spice. I put a little bit too much clove in there, because one cookie that I had kind of almost, I made my mouth numb. I put maybe just a little bit too much clove in there, but they were just so nice. They were nice, gooey and hot. And then later on that day, using the KitchenAid again, we had a Sunday roast, so I made the Yorkshire puddings kind of in the KitchenAid, which was just
anything that now, like, does it need mixing, Nicola?
Yes, like soup. Let's make soup. We had soup this evening. Let's put it in the KitchenAid. But did the Yorkshire pudding because I just had the KitchenAid on, and while I was cooking, I just every now and then just kind of turned it up and turned it off, and it really made me smile. So I'm quite happy that it's a gorgeous kind of empire red, so it matches the other KitchenAid things in the house.
Nice. As soon as it came through, I honestly was surprised that you hadn't got one already, because
Yes.
I know you love your cooking and your kitchen. So fair play. This is a good gadget. I think we've got a comparable brand,
right,
shall we say? Ali opted for the Kenwood instead. They are separate ones, aren't they?
They are.
I'm not just like...
No,
that's
right. Yes.
So I just had this sort of realize, is that what the K in K-Mix stood for? And I've just been missing that all along? No, it's a different K. So yeah, we've been having one of those for a while, and again, like I got rather too used to it. So even when I was trying to like make a tiny meringue, it's like let's put a single egg in here and whisk it up. It's like, Ali, it won't even the whisk won't even hit the bottom with that one. Just stop it. Just use a fork. So, but they're good. They're good. They like there's a. It's not that I couldn't go back, it's just that I don't know what I did without it.
Yes, absolutely. Just adding the ingredients in kind of bit by bit, and kind of, I was still trying to, on Sunday, I was trying to work out kind of the best way to approach it. I really think kind of head on, because it kind of, when the whisk is kind of going round and rotating, I think it's called a planetary whisk or something like that, as it's kind of circling around.
So there's circles in circles.
Yes.
Like
spirograph.
What they call it. Spirograph,
yes. So it's a bit like that. So as it kind of goes to the back, then that's the good time to kind of put the ingredients in, and it was just awesome. So yeah, it looks, like I say, it just looks nice even on the shelf. It looks really cool. So I was very happy, and the amount of accessories that you can get for this thing. You get this sheet in the box, this big old kind of A4 sheet of all of these different accessories, from pasta making, so there's a pasta press, there's a ravioli press, there's a juicer, there's a mincer, there's just so much stuff, and it was just like, so I was like, I want that, and I just started kind of looking at all the things that I want.
Obviously, we went down that road. I can't remember which ones we had. There was definitely... I think it was still when Ali was a meatitarian, so then we might have got the mincer and a couple of the graters,
right,
or something like that. Honestly, we never used them.
No.
Like, it got to the point where that was a step of gadgetry too far, where to set up the Kenwood and then put the attachment on just to grate a courgette. And it's like, this might be overkill at this point.
It's just too much, but it just looks cool. But they're really big. Yeah. They just kind of fit on the end, and it was... They
just bolt on.
Exactly.
It's like a transformer. Yeah.
It's like, yes, I want this. I want one that kind of does the courgette and then turns that into ravioli. But no, it was very cool. I was very impressed and very happy. So I'm going to do some more. Nicola but as I was coming up to pod, Nicola was looking at recipes for what she wants this weekend, and I think it might be some kind of apple cinnamon cake is the next thing that she wants. So she was like, and I did the same as you. I was like, can I mix it? That's more importantly. Can it be mixed? That's what I want to do next. So yes, so it was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, nice. So that was my weekend. So it was quite a fun weekend.
I think the only thing left on the docket now is a quick word about the NFL, because
yes.
I know Steve is a massive Patriots fan, and this weekend, as I've been trying to describe to Ali, is the semi-finals for the Super Bowl have just finished. And to which, like, every year I root against the Patriots. They are sort of like the Manchester United and Chelsea and Man City all combined into one. I'm happy to say it, hateful team.
Yes.
But you just love to hate at this point in time. And unfortunately, they got through to the Super Bowl again, despite all my willing and stopping up and watching things at the weekend. I mean, there were some thrilling games at the weekend, because I know you've been watching more recently.
Absolutely, yes.
I want to. Are you stopping up for the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks' time?
I might do, as you were saying just before I went to pod, I'll be interested to see if Sky's kind of showing it in 4K. Not that that's going to stop me whether I'm staying up or not, but I won't.
8K or nothing.
4K or my eyes are shut. I will. I'm not going to Manchester the next day, and I think that's what happened last year. So I think I might stay up. And watch it, because I was just, like I say, since going with you guys, since going and watching it live, it really is something that I just enjoy watching. And I'm completely understand it, getting used to the players and the players' names, and what's happening, and I'm just really enjoying it. So really enjoying just kind of jumping in every now and then and watching it.
Grand. When we're up at 3 a.m, then we'll make sure to loop you in on the WhatsApps.
Yes.
And, they've announced the games for this year as well at Wembley and Spurs. So we'll have to get you along for those ones.
Oh,
as well.
Superb! Who's coming over this year? No, next. Yeah, this year.
There's off the top of my head, the Bears, the Raiders, the Bucks, the Jaguars, the Bengals, the Titans, and someone else. Wow. The Rams.
Oh, wow.
The Rams.
Okay, that's good. That's
good. We could, in theory, have the Super Bowl champions over.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Didn't the Patriots lose last year?
Yes.
Yeah, he says with a big grin on his face. Yes, they did. There is still hope. You could just.
It was the worst weekend as far as I was concerned, because the Patriots got through to the Super Bowl, and also Steve's Man United beat my Tottenham as well.
Aww.
So it's horrendous couple of weeks for sports.
It's a bad week. So anyway, enough about all of that, even though that was awesome. Should we jump into what we've been playing? James, I know you hinted before about playing some Smash. Do you want to kick off?
Yeah, this is the first time I've actually tried to get into Smash since the N64 version, when I think my brother Matt's brought the cartridge home one day, and I'm doing my darndest just to not treat it like just like a casual game, in the sense that I want to try and get better at it. So I think I've unlocked 59 out of the 69 characters, I think so, and each of those I've been trying to go through and give a play, give a dabble, so just spend half an hour with each, just feeling how they're like or so. But I'm maining Kirby.
Right.
This might come as a complete shock. But I know one of the first characters you can get, and also still my favourite. The bigger shot is I don't like playing as Luigi.
Oh, wow.
That was a heartbreaking moment when I realised I don't like his close-up combat melee style, so I had to put him to one side. But the thing I've been trying to do is play more with people at work.
Right.
Because my friends, they have played this series to an obsessive level for many years. They know the stages, they know the moves, and it's the first time I've got a proper glimpse into, I guess, what it must be like for something like Street Fighter. I've always wondered, how do people just pick up Ken or Ryu and just jump to the next version? But these guys just oh no, this is Bowser's moveset's this. But what threw me off was his leap is slightly more pronounced in this one. He's dropped. It's whoa,
wow,
okay, this is a level. But they've been really good. The Smash is forgiving in some respects. When you've got 4 or 5 players on screen, you can get a noob like me just roughing it with the big boys and actually doing all right, trying to feel their way through. But it's an education. It's a proper education. Just beating up the AI is nothing compared to actually trying to dance with 5 skilled players against it all. But it's been good. It's been a nice way to spend every other lunchtime.
Have you been playing that in a soundproof booth? Because I can just imagine the shouting. Are you very kind of tucked away somewhere in a barn somewhere, really quiet?
I get competitive over stuff that I think I'm good at.
Right.
So when I'm playing Smash, I know I'm not good at it. So I don't get as competitive as we do with Mario Kart.
Maybe.
Just for example. And that's good in our little circle. I'm not saying I'm international.
Yes.
So occasionally I will just drop an expletive when something truly remarkable happens, and I'm sure people in reception, I hope there's no guests in reception, but it's few and far between. It is a far more toned down Big Sheep than most games.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Until maybe kind of in 6 months' time, where you become some kind of Smash master, and then you.
Then we'll need to be locked away in the music room.
Yeah. Oh, that's just so cool. It's so good that you get to kind of play it at work as well. You know, just to kind of like I say, kind of play against like people rather than just AI all the time as well. So that's really good that you get to kind of do that at lunchtime. It's quite nice, especially at the moment with the weather being a bit near. You know, it's good to kind of like play that and take that in.
Yeah, it's utter. We played with 8 players for the first time this lunchtime, and it's utter carnage.
Really?
Like my eyes hurt after it all, just because like there's so much going on screen. Like if you have a colourful background with 8 players attacking each other, then all the effects and items and special blasts and particle effects, it's just
wow.
You just need to blink. The game finishes and you just need to blink. That's the first reaction.
See, but I guess when it pulls out as well, when you it's quite far away, 8 characters. I guess you're lucky because you're just a pink blob, so you'll always be able to find Kirby. But it must be hard to just kind of lose your character and not know where your character is.
Yeah, there's a few times like, where am I? Oh, I'm dead. Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm down there, am I? Yeah. That's where I am. Oh, that's just so cool. So are you going to keep going? Are you going to try and unlock all those characters?
Yeah, at this point in time as well, nothing else is like taking my fancy. Resident Evil hasn't piqued my interest, so I think I'm just going to keep going and plugging away, because a combination of the way that Smash is set up and the fact the Switch is always on standby means that if I've just got 10 minutes, then I can put Smash on and have a quick knock around and then leave it. Like, you know, between the even the smallest games on Xbox and PlayStation, they've got a load time.
Yes.
But just having that permanently on is quite nice. Like, put it on, switch on the Wavebird, away we go. So it's just that nice filler. That nice filler between the chunkier ones.
Yes. So Resident Evil isn't checking your box. It's kind of... I think that's like the first big game. It's coming out on Friday. I think it's kind of... What about closely followed by Kingdom Hearts 3? Is that something that maybe kind of pique your interest? Or are you just like...
No, I'm not a JRPG fan.
No.
And I'm not the biggest Disney fan. So, like, I enjoy certain Disney films, but I am not such into the lore that I need to play something just because it's got Donald Duck on the front of it.
Yes.
Well, so, and I feel like I don't... Now I've probably missed the boat.
Yes.
So, yeah, that one is just happening like a Final Fantasy release for me. It's happening, and I'm sure people enjoy it, and I don't dislike it. It's just... for others.
Yes. See, I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game. I've never played any of them. But I'm tempted by this for some reason. I think because it's on the Xbox. But I'm tempted by it. But I don't know whether to just boomerang it and just kind of like try and get it on day one and have a play. Because, you know, similar to playing other kind of JRPGs, I've always kind of enjoyed the first 5 hours, but then kind of maybe something else has taken my focus, you know, such as Anthem or something like that, that I just know I won't go back. You know, I know I just kind of won't. So it's almost like I've got a window between now and the 15th of February, which is when Crackdown comes out, because I know I'm going to spend a lot of time there. So it's almost like I'll boomerang it, have a quick play, see whatever, because whatever podcast you listen to or whatever you read on the internet, people are going bananas for Kingdom Hearts, and I can see why. I mean, it looks like it's got a bit crazy, and I remember when like Darren talking about it as well. You know, he was always a huge fan of the Kingdom Hearts game, so I'm very tempted to just jump in and see what it's like. But I think I'm just like you. I think I'll kind of come off of it quite quickly, or get distracted very easy. So
save yourself the 50-60 quid and just borrow it for, because what's the worst that's going to happen? So I want this, I'll play it after Crackdown.
Yes. Yes.
Like I do like how they seem to spin the whole universe together in some sort of... I'm sure it's tenuous in places, but the fact they try and make the Disneylands tie together... but yeah, I think I tried with Ni no Kuni. I think Ni no Kuni was the last true JRPG I tried. And I probably played it for about 12 hours, and at that point it just felt like it was getting into traditional, and this is a broad generalization, so forgive me, but it just felt like it got into that stereotypical grind before you need to get to the next boss area JRPG.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's pretty, I've enjoyed what I've done, but I'm done.
Yeah.
So it's maybe in a couple of years' time, you know, that 5-year cycle of here we go again.
Yes.
Give it another try, but yeah, this isn't it.
Excellent stuff. What else have you been playing, sir?
The best one I've been playing is the return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh, yes.
Which I think I briefly touched upon last time I was here. So the return of the Obra Dinn is like a mystery, a murder mystery, set on a merchant ship from, I think it's the 1700s. That has mysteriously turned back up at port with all the crew dead. The best tagline I saw was like, it's like a battle royale you've turned up late for, because you just go around the boat and just find corpses or traces of corpses, and your job is as an insurance adjuster, and you have to try and figure out how everyone died. And so it's this big mystery that you have to go together looking at clues, and all you've basically got is the memories of the crew. So as you come across a corpse, you can pull out your magic fob watch, and teleport yourself back to the moment they died, and you have this freeze frame, this diorama around you that you can stroll around, and like everything is still. There's no move. There's a bit of voice acting, but you have this one single snapshot of their death, and you can see people's faces. You then basically have to try and put together who is who,
right, by
context clues, like whether they shout "Captain, no!" You know that's the captain.
Yeah.
Take the captain off the list. And you have to combine the manifest of people that's on there, that's also got their nationality and their rank.
Right.
And then you've just got a picture of everyone on the crew, and then how they died. There is nothing concrete about it. You don't know anything, and it's all about deduction. And it's a snowball. Like, to begin with, you have... the first three things you have to solve, they're easy. It's the tutorial. It tries to show you how to put it together. But then you just have 60 other people that you have to watch them die, which is, and then try and figure out how they died and who did it.
Right.
And it's just a monumental task to begin with. But the more you go in, the more you chip away, the more you think it's possible. And also just the cleverer that you feel.
Oh, that's good.
Because you go like, oh, there's only one Welsh person. Can we hear a Welsh accent? Well, this guy's the only guy with a tattoo. Can we go around and find who else has got a tattoo like this and then match that back to like his bunk bed or something like that? The last couple of ones we matched were by their shoes.
Wow!
Like there was a scene where someone was hanging out of a bunk bed and had the number of who they were on the end of the bed. And the shoe hanging out of it, and we're going like, well, we've got to go back now. Like, we're running out of things. Can we identify this person by their shoe? And it was like, when you do it, it's like high fives. Because I was tag teaming this with Ali. She had a notebook.
Right.
I was like projecting its Steam to the telly, and we were just going through like proper like Miss Marple style, just going like, no, you look like...
That's so cool.
It was really good, really good. Like, I think it's a great game, but it was really amplified by the fact we decided to co-op it together.
Yes, and have Ali take notes and kind of work out all of the... You were the sidekick to Ali's
I was the Watson to Ali's Holmes.
Yes, absolutely. That just sounds... Because obviously it has its own kind of look and feel as well, doesn't it? It has a really nice kind of art style as well, so you kind of have that as well, which I guess it's almost an element to kind of fight against as well, isn't it? Because it's hard to make out from the screenshots that I've seen and seen it kind of running. Sometimes it is hard to deduct. You can't just see it's not like a kind of AAA title where you go, oh, that's that person, because their facial animation is perfect. It has that kind of almost, what would you call it? It was almost like an 8-bit, a 2-bit.
Well, it's like I would say it looks like a Game Boy.
Yes.
Like the whole thing looks like it's running on a Game Boy with a really powerful 3D engine behind it.
Yeah.
And yeah, to a degree it makes it harder, but I think it's a really good choice for it because even if it hadn't been that quite pixelated, dotty style, like dot matrix, it has meant that the characteristics of the sailors have to be distinctive despite that sort of like lack of clarity. And so you are looking for the man with the swirly tattoos. You are looking for like the man with the braided beard. And I've forgotten the name of the chap who did it. He has basically had to create like 60 plus characters that are unique in some way, shape or form.
Yes.
And it's just a remarkable job that he's done. I can imagine it being photorealistic. It wouldn't have the resonance as well. Like it just that abstraction just really helps like that it is a mystery. And it almost works with that style of the era, like of the 1700s, of just like etchings or carvings or like pencil sketches. That abstraction really works.
That's so cool. So would you recommend it? I guess it's only available on Steam, isn't it, or PC?
Only on Steam, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I'd have been in the Game of the Year discussions, like that would have been high.
Right.
Like high. I can't think of many things last year that would have beaten that. That was partly because it was a unique experience, but it was also it was just so cleverly done. Like, you've got to tip your hat to the designer programmer behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like it was such a great gaming co-op experience as well, with like you and Ali as well. It just sounds like it was a really good thing to do together. So it's just like, it was like, I guess, very akin to kind of back a couple of years ago when maybe Nicola and I were playing The Witness. And we were working out those puzzles and just really kind of working them out together. And it's quite nice, you know. It's quite. I always remember that kind of like jumping up and pointing at the screen and kind of going working out some of the puzzles. It was so much
just
fun.
getting a laser pen from the back, going this way,
this way.
This
do
way.
this, do this. That's superb. Was there ever a point where maybe who you thought and who Ali thought were clashing? Where you're like, no, it's definitely this guy. You're like, no, it's this person. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they're quite generous in. So it's almost like Cluedo, in the sense that you have to put the guesses in, like who they are, how they died, who killed them, and it will only tell you if you're right if you've got 3 sets of people right.
Right.
So it means that you can't cheese it by just swapping things back and forward across two people. But it did mean that if we had crossed that boundary and someone we had guessed wasn't right, going, aha! No, it wasn't the Swedish chef that you thought it was. So it's just like going back and then reassessing everything.
Yes,
so.
that just sounds so cool. So that's the return of the Obra Dinn, isn't it?
Yes, I get it. I would thoroughly recommend it.
Yes, if only I had a PC. I don't have it. I've got to wait for it to come to. Do you reckon it'll come to consoles? Is it kind of?
I don't think. I think there's. I could see it roughly, but it would be a bit of a jump because you have to go through a bit of the book, the click menu. Right. It does seem suited for the mouse, but I just played it on my Surface, so it wasn't like a powerhouse at all.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
I might give it a run on my Surface and see if that works. Okay, cool,
yeah.
Excellent stuff. What else have you been playing?
On the flip side, Tomb Raider, the latest one that I'm so about that I can't actually remember its proper name. Like the actual gameplay is fine.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that disparaging. Like, I enjoy the the third person combat, especially the stealth part. I think that's fun. But the whole wrapping is just, like it's just melodramatic, over the top drivel as far as I'm concerned. Like from the word go, they try and milk sympathy from you for Lara. Like, isn't the life hard being the world-famous, like, globe-trotting archaeologist who causes national disasters everywhere she goes? And it's just like, it just tries to turn the sympathy taps on everywhere it goes. Like, very early on, it has a flashback to, you know, how her father died, or how she was, like, you know, young and, like, just exploring the mansion, and, like, her mother's disappeared. It tried too hard to make me give a damn, and just in return just pushed me further and further away from it. So we were basically just like, if Ali wasn't watching because she's a big Tomb Raider fan, I would have been skipping cutscenes just to try to get on with it. But like when we came back from like the Christmas break, because we haven't played that since before Christmas, I have zero energy to go back for it, because like the stealth, the combat, the exploration is fine, but it is nothing exceptional. And having played 2 games of that already, like Rise of the Tomb Raider, I think was fantastic because it pushed on from Tomb Raider, the reboot.
Yes.
This just, I guess would say, coasts from it all. And so I feel like it's not offering me anything new. And just like the survival mechanic of collecting every twig and leaf around has grown weary.
Yes.
So yeah, it's not bad. It's just really not good. So, but on the flip side, Florence. I've been playing Florence on my mobile phone. It's a very short little experience. It's a little narrative story with a few puzzles in it. But it's adorable. It's the story of a young lady getting into a relationship and just how she's managing her life at the time. And I will say no more than that.
Right.
Because it should take you less than probably an hour to play through. I think it's only about £3 on the Android store. And it is just lovely. Like it's just adorable and lovely. Matt and I had a chat with it after we spoke. I think he had a moist eye at one point, and I just definitely had feels.
Right.
But it's just lovely. Like, for what is set up to be a little puzzler, it's just delivers and then some. So have a look at Florence as well.
I might check that out. I saw, because I think you tweeted about it, and there's also been on quite a lot of the kind of Game of the Year podcasts as well that I was listening to. I think Florence was kind of, especially for story and kind of what it does. So I was like, I've got to check that out. And I had a look. It's on the iOS store, and you can also play it on the iPad as well, which will give you that kind of nice, kind of big screen to play it on. So I was...
Yeah, I think that would look lovely. It's got some really nice art style and a lovely soundtrack. I was looking to see if they had the album released anywhere on that. It's good.
Right.
It's good.
Oh, excellent stuff.
And finally, carrying on thieving. You can't get me off it. Half the reason I wasn't on the Game of the Year show was I think if I'd have tried to plug my own game as my own Game of the Year, I think it might have dampened the authority of your own awards at that point in time. So I removed myself from that dilemma. But yeah, carrying on with that, carrying on playing with the same sort of crew that we did last year, and just having a hoot. One of my ex workmates who has since moved back home got it for Christmas, and so we took him sailing at the weekend, and suitably he was attacked by giant sharks and skeleton ships as soon as we left dock. So carrying on having a blast in there.
So we got the full experience.
Oh yes, yes.
That's so cool. I was gonna try and jump in on Sunday, but I ended up playing. Ended up completely forgetting that there was a session because I was watching Grace and Frankie on Netflix. We were just finishing the final couple of episodes, but I jumped into Forza with Manny, so which was fun. But I really want to jump back into Sea of Thieves. I really want to kind of play some more because I haven't played it since before Christmas, I think. So I really want to kind of jump back in. I'm kind of missing it. The other day when I was just sitting down and I had some time to spare, I just kind of jumped in just to do like a mission on my own. So I just took out a sloop out on my own and just kind of because I think it was like midday or something like that, and I just kind of took it out on my own just for kind of a bit of just to listen to the waves and the creaking and the crashing and doing a couple of missions. It was so lovely, and I was just like, I miss being shouted at. I miss. When you're on your own.
I was hoping I was learning how to park.
Exactly.
I was just approaching the island. I found a quiet island in the back, the car park at Tesco's, and just started trying to practice the 3-pointer.
That was it. That's all I was doing. Because you also had a really good stream, didn't you? You had a good kind of live stream. Was it last week? Was it last week that you were doing one?
Yeah. So that's why I couldn't be on last week. I was on a stream through work.
Yeah.
And it's... I can't keep plugging this, but if you have a look at the stream, it's amazing because
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Our producer introduced the Wheel of Other People's Emotions, which just made me laugh even before we had a look at it. So there's always been a dilemma, I guess, with content, because we've done a lot of streams over the time of like, what should we do? Mm-hmm. What should be the plan for this one? Because like we don't want to keep trying to tread the old threads of like, okay, today we're going to be friendly, today we're going to go for treasure, today we'll do some ships. So we've introduced a random element where there is a Wheel of Fortune style wheel that you spin, and it tells you how to interact with the players that you meet. And so every time we met a ship, we spun it twice, because once isn't good enough.
Yeah.
So Whoopie, as we like to call her, first told us we had to shoot the people with cursed cannonballs.
Right.
So make them dance, make them jig, make them fall asleep, and then try and get aboard and climb their crow's nest.
Right. So
it's just like us driving by, shooting with them, and then wondering why they were running away. Whilst going, no, we just need to climb your ladders.
Please, we need this for a stream.
Yeah, so it's good. It's good. I want to try and get it in game. It was just ridiculous fun.
That would be so much fun, wouldn't it? If you go into like Duke's Tavern and then spun the wheel, and that's how you need to be for that session.
Duke in a spangly gold sequined Quizmaster's jacket.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be awesome.
Oh my! I'm sending myself an email.
Yes, yeah. Dear James, you had a really good idea. Listen to the podcast this week and you'll get it back. That's just so cool. No, I definitely want to jump in with you guys and kind of spend some more time kind of out this the Seas of Thieves. But for me, I think, like I say, I've been playing some Forza, so jump back into Forza. I hadn't played it for a while. Kind of been going in every week and kind of doing the weekly kind of check-offs, but we hadn't got together as a group, and then suddenly there was a group happening on Sunday. The best thing about the group was friend of the show, Wee Man, who's been mentioned a few times. He created what I can only say were just the two most amazing courses that I have ever raced in Forza. They were just one of them, so much so that I actually keep meaning to kind of message him, because one of them I was thinking about the next day. So that was Sunday. It's only Tuesday.
What was so special about it?
It was just amazing. It was just he mapped the course around there's a water. There's like a babbling brook. So you go down the river, you go all the way to the beach, and then you've got to come back up the other side. And it was just, and he'd also positioned some.
That's good concept.
It really is, and because the first time we did it in warthogs, so we were breezing down there, and it was so much fun. And then because that was in, I believe the guys before I joined, they did it in summer, and it was dry, so that wasn't very eventful. But when we did it in spring, it was full of water, so we did it in warthogs, and that was just great fun. The next time we had I think I had a Ferrari or something, because we were trying to do it, in winter just to see if it had iced over, but it hadn't. So at one point we were going like 25 miles an hour, apart from Wee Man, who had a 4x4 and he just come breezing past. But it was just, and then we found that if we banked the car, we could go a little bit faster. So there was some real, but also, not only has he mapped out this own course, but he also, as you put it in the checkpoints, they can be as wide or as thin as you want them to be. So he put some checkpoints under a bridge. He put some checkpoints in some really horrible turns. And it just made for such a great race. And now I may just like this one so much because I came first. I'm going to repeat that. I came first in a Forza match, which is just great. But they were just... And then the other one that he did was like kind of... I think it was called like the Forest Rush. He will correct me for what it was. But it was like and we were going through the forest. And at that point, it was so dense. His course was so dense, and there was a couple of jumps, and it was just so much fun. It was the water, the kind of babbling brook one. I want to ask him to like share the blueprints, because you can do that. I believe. I think you can kind of share, once you set a course, you can share the blueprints, and it was so much fun. So it has kind of sparked that we might have a build your own level night where we all build our levels and we all race with our own. We all bring our tracks to the game, basically.
I can pretty much imagine what shape Man is going to make. Some sort of...
Yes. Some really long straights.
Really long straight, then a couple of really sharp turns.
Yes. Yeah. So,
not sharp, just like gentle meandering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of like but the ones that we did were just absolutely superb. Like I say, I was sitting at work. I was working from home on Monday yesterday, and I was just sitting there, and something hit me. I was just like, oh god, that course was so good, and I just kept thinking about it. I meant to message him going, I need you to share that blueprint, because I had a look. I jumped in last night for a quick race. And just to see I hadn't finished the Forza-thon for that week, and I just jumped in and I had a quick look, because you can look via creator. So I had a quick look at his gamer tag, but he hadn't kind of shared them. So I need to kind of get Wee Man to share them, because they were just superb.
Yeah, I felt like a bit of a fool that night. I basically double booked myself and was trying to have my cake and eat it. So like, even though my friend who was my ex-workmate, who was just like coming on the seas with us, like, I've got 5 minutes, I'm going to jump in for a car, just a race. So yeah, I tried briefly to join you, but it's a shame we jumped in so often with Forza Horizon 3.
Yes.
And I'm not quite sure. I think whether it's just been the wealth of games this year, like with Spider-Man and Thieves and God of War and all sorts of things like that we just haven't spent as long in it. But yeah, it's the perennial game. I can see us going back to that for the next year or so.
Absolutely, and we were just playing the vanilla game because I think there were a couple of us that hadn't bought the season pass, so we were just or bought the Fortune Island. So we were just playing the vanilla game, but it was just so much fun, and adding that additional element of our own tracks. Wee Man was a really good dungeon master. He was really kind of setting up all the courses. He was a really good, and it was just so much fun. So I like the idea of trying to, and the fact that he had found that, because I was looking at the map like last night when I was looking at it, and I could see because it leads right to the beach, and I think it's out by where Fortune Island is, so where the jumping off point to Fortune Island is, just kind of down that coast. And to do that course there was genius. It was absolute genius. But by all accounts, I think you just travel along. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be fast, so you just say, this is my course and I want to drop a checkpoint here, and so you get to do that, and then at the end you just say, yep, that's my course, and that's it. So,
I guess that's a really nice way of doing it as well, because it proves you have to be able to drive there.
Yes.
That's nice.
There was one that they kind of, you hit a really steep hill, and at the end of the hill there was like a really horrible jump, and that was just the noise in your headphones, from everyone when we kind of did that. It was so much fun. It was good fun. So that was kind of Forza Horizon 4. I've also kind of over the weekend I've jumped into Soul Calibur 6.
This seems out the blue. Because is there a free weekend? How did you manage this?
No, I was. I've got some time until had some spare spots in my kind of boomerang calendar. So I was looking at games that I wanted to play, and Soul Calibur VI. I think I added it to my boomerang list when it first came out, but I didn't get it that weekend. So it kind of moved down on because you can order them of the ones you want to. You can say, right, only deliver my top 3. So I kind of placed it below my top 3. But at the weekend, or before the weekend, I was like, do you know what? I really fancy playing some Soul Calibur. So I kind of pushed it into there. The guys just kind of packaged it, sent it off. So I got it for Friday, popped it in, and just had an evening on Friday after I finished work and had dinner. I just played Soul Calibur and it was just really good fun. Because I used to play Soul Calibur back in the day with like a Dreamcast and things like that. So I was just absolutely loved kind of playing 3D fighters, from Virtual Fighter, Soul Calibur, Dead or Alive, those kind of games. So it was just really cool just to kind of jump back in and see what was happening, the bonkers stuff that was happening in Soul Calibur. So I guess.
Nice.
So it was really good, and it looks just incredible. It's HDR, it's 4K, it's been enhanced on the Xbox One X, which I was playing with it, and it just I was remembering kind of the first game that I played, and then I was looking online to try and see what that looked like, because it's always the way that in your head that's how they looked when you were playing them. It's just like kind of playing Soul Calibur 6 is how Soul Calibur looked, and I was just like, that's how it looked. It hasn't changed that much. And then I looked online and I was like, oh my God, take those nostalgia goggles off, and it's just like, but it was so much fun. And just kind of the move set has changed slightly, but just kind of getting back into those moves was just really good. So I was playing as Mitsuragi was kind of like my character, my kind of go-to character, but I was also just, once I did that in the arcade mode, I was just cycling through the other characters to just kind of just play as those. So it was really good.
Cool. Yeah, so it sounds like what I was doing with Smash. But have you taken it online? Have you taken your pokey sword skills? What does Mitsuragi have? Does he have a
he has a katana, I think. He has katana. So no, and I know. I've been playing arcade on normal, and that's just kind of it scares me out there. I know. And they had that whole kind of build your own character, and I'm seeing some really strange things being built, including
yes, yeah. I think again, if Manny had his way with that, he'd have a field day.
Yes,
so, yeah.
Yes. Well, it's just like there was one that was like Thomas the Tank Engine. It was like Yoshimitsu with a Thomas the Tank Engine head, and it was just bizarre.
Oh, I didn't expect that to come out your mouth.
you imagine just being paired into a fight with that. You'd just be paralysed because you'd be freaked out by it. But so no, I didn't.
A very naughty engine.
Yes, so I haven't taken it online. I've still got it. Haven't taken it online yet, but I'm just enjoying just jumping in and playing.
I'm now googling Soul Calibur.
Thomas Tank Engine. You'll see it.
Yeah. Okay. This is in the top searches.
It will scare you. I'm just gonna...
That is. There's a few variations.
Oh, really?
There's a couple that basically looks like they've dunked an engine on their head. There's a few that look like Transformers. That's impressive.
It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. And then the last game that I've been playing was Call of Duty Blackout. Now that was the free trial, so I think the free trial ends today or tomorrow as we're podding. But I kind of jumped in Saturday morning. I kind of downloaded it on Friday, so Saturday morning kind of jumped in and played some Blackout. And I really liked it. I played PUBG with Manny, played that and just had a good time with that. But there's something about Blackout that just seems to be a lot faster. And then once you die, I think I got down to 15 was the lowest I got to at one point. But once you die, you can either spectate the rest of the match, or you can just say, nope, I want to play the next one. And getting you into that next game, whether it was a large player base or whatever it is, but getting you into that next game is really rapid, and being able to just pick up a gun quite quickly. I think that was the kind of things that I struggled with PUBG, was trying to get a gun, trying to get the right gun, where Call of Duty is just, you jump in and it's just, the floor is just full of guns, so you get a gun very quickly. So you get a gun very quickly and then just kind of like either hide or get to a good position, or just try and get, same principle, that ever decreasing circle that you need to get into. But it does have that Call of Duty polish to it as well. And I haven't jumped into PUBG for a while, but I was tempted because I think today the snow map because like PUBG's on Game Pass, but I think I bought it on early access anyway. But it's now on Game Pass, and they've just released the snow map. So I'm tempted just to jump in and see what it's like now. But I remember when I was playing it originally, it was still a bit janky. You know, it was still kind of at that kind of version 1 on Xbox, but Call of Duty Blackout was good. It was really good. And the sessions that I had, a couple of hour sessions, I was just really enjoying it.
That's cool. I wonder if it helps as well that Call of Duty's got almost this feel to it that you've had before as well, where PUBG was... It was a new control, new guns, new feel, new mechanics, new like feedback, everything.
Yes.
Whereas Call of Duty is a bit more familiar, because I know you jump in usually annually for the campaign or so. So at least you had that muscle memory to certain of it. So I'm not surprised it felt good, but it's always the polish they put around the outside that's the crucial thing. So to hear it's got that snappiness of get back in, get back in, get back in, I guess that's why it's taken off.
Absolutely. Like I say, from there was a couple of times where I was like 80th, but I just didn't hang around, so just recycled, went straight back in, you know, and that was it. And one of them, I kind of deployed my or came out of my parachute too soon, and I just died straight away. I just died in a crump of the thing. I wasn't 99th, thank God, but I just died in a crump. So I just was like, right, B, back in. You know, no one saw that. There was no shame lost, and straight back in. I played it, and it was just
how many bathtubs did you hide in? I think that's always a good battle royale metric.
Yes, absolutely. I was in a toilet because there's a diner. I was hiding and then someone must have spotted me, because occasionally, even though it had that Call of Duty polish, occasionally I saw like an elbow sticking out of the wall. There was one guy, I came into a house and I saw the door was shut, so I was kind of slowly going to that door, and I then saw an elbow like kind of come out the wall, so I knew someone was in there. So I just threw open the door and threw a grenade in and just took him out, but I just felt like I cheesed that kill. But it was really good fun. I really enjoyed it. So like I say, I think the trial is finished now, but it was definitely successful, because it was it just showed me kind of how much fun that game is, which is really good, because I was thinking about maybe kind of grabbing that on Boomerang just to kind of play some of the Battle Royale, but that trial kind of gave me the taste that I wanted.
I'm glad. I think it would be easy to hate on something like this. You know, it's Call of Duty, which gives itself a big target, and it's a Battle Royale, which, you know, is, you know, this year's MOBA. But to actually see them pull it off, I think, you know, you got to tip your hat to them. And it does make me wonder, given what's going on with Battlefield, which is, you know, usually Call of Duty's, you know, nemesis, if you want to really like play that up. Obviously, they're different games, but, you know, it's easy when they're quite similar.
Yes.
I'm really intrigued to see what they do for their, is it March release?
I think it is, yes.
Because they've got some big shoes to fill now. They've given Call of Duty this lead in the more, I guess it treads the middle ground between Fortnite and PUBG, whereas Fortnite is, you know, it's basically a cartoon at times, and, you know, Call of Duty's got this slightly looser feel, whereas PUBG is like, yeah, give me a bathtub, give me a rifle, I'm here for 2 hours.
Yes.
Where is Battlefield going to sit? Yeah. What's going to make them stand out? Like, I think it'd be an easier fight to almost have right at the start, where both Blackout and Battlefield would be making their way in the world. But now there are expectations. Like, this is a big EA franchise, and, you know, with what's happened with Star Wars in the last week or so, it's like going, they've lost that game.
Yeah.
Are they going to lose this game as well? Like, what is happening to EA's flagship franchise?
No, I think you're absolutely spot on. You know, it'll be really interesting to see just how they go, because you are right. Even though they are different games, it very much is like two camps, isn't it? It's either you're a Call of Duty player or you're a Battlefield player. You know, it's like
a FIFA Pro Evo type thing, isn't it? It's like which do you prefer?
Yes, Mario, Luigi. You know, it's just like that.
There's no camp. It's just a right or a wrong in that one. There's difference.
But it'll be really interesting to see just how they kind of message it, and how they announce what they're doing with it, because it's all about that messaging. It's all about that first announcement, and I think they really need to make sure they hit the mark there, because you can imagine it, if it's below par, you can imagine a lot of those Battlefield players just going over to Call of Duty, and I wouldn't be surprised after this weekend to see maybe like Blackout becoming a separate thing that you can just buy. You know, you can just buy Blackout for £20 or something like that.
But they already took zombies out. I forget the actual package. They always took zombies out to leave you with normal multiplayer and Blackout. So yeah, it's just one step away from that. slice and dice.
Yeah.
They're probably separate executables somewhere down the tree, so yeah.
Absolutely. Like I say, when you jumped into the trial this weekend, it was just the others were locked. So it was almost like behind a paywall almost. It's like you could buy the multiplayer if you just played this for this pass. You could easily see them breaking out. And maybe this trial was to see if it worked and see if everything went okay as well. So yeah, it was really good. Like I say, enjoyed jumping in. It was quite nice. Saturday, I listened to it for a while. I had my headphones on listening to the game just because it's really good to hear people kind of coming up behind you. But then I kind of got a little bit bored with it, so I just listened to a podcast, but it was just really good. It was really good podcast fodder.
Just imagine, get the connections wrong. It's like, we can know where you are, Antony. You're listening to Real Funny Games or something.
Yes. Just pushing out podcast.
Sorry, I come next to this toilet, and all I can hear is you, Greg Miller, just laughing out of it.
Shouting. Superb. Right, James, we jump into the news section.
Let's!
But before we start the news section, don't forget you can rate, review and subscribe to this very podcast for free on iTunes, Spotify and also on YouTube. So in the news section this week, a charity streamer raises a barrel-load of cash. We have some Anthem demo details, and Nintendo are teasing us with their indie-focused direct. James, the first piece of news here is with you.
Yeah, and I don't like often to raise necessary focus on one streamer or one charity cause or what have you, but I thought this was just such a nice combination of events, because a guy over the last few days named H.Bomberguy won Harry Brewis. He's been streaming Donkey Kong 64, like a game that's been close to my heart over the years, and he decided to stream that game because he's never ever completed it.
Wow.
So he thought, on this charity drive, this is a goal. I will aim to complete this in front of what he probably thought was only a handful of people. Because on this charity drive, I think he basically set himself the target of raising £500. 500 of your English pounds. Now, if you or I set out to do this, I think this would be sky high. And unless we had one sugar daddy drop that in, I think we would be far and away off our target. But Harry Brewis managed to raise £233,000 for his charity of choice, and it was a combination of events. So he was raising money for a charity called Mermaids, which is a British organisation who are focused on, quote-unquote, raising awareness about gender non-conformity in children and young people. It provides support and guidance and help to kids and their family that are, going through that process, like considering trans or just trying to figure out where they stand in the world, and Mermaids offer them help with that. But the reason this all kicked off was because the Times and a couple of prominent tweeters and columnists basically labelled this group as an aggressive group seeking to encourage child sex change procedures, which rather than just support families going through the process of this. And under a rather negative campaign, the funding that was going to come to this charity from the National Lottery was removed, or rather is being undertaken a review, shall we say. So they lost £500,000 worth of funding. So, fair play to Harry. He saw this, thought of the injustice, and decided to play his favourite game for it. And it just carried on snowballing. Like, the story gained traction. And during the 3 days, I think it was, that he spent streaming, I'm trying to find the hour count right now, 57 hours, almost 58 hours.
Wow.
That he spent streaming this. So it's a long game, in fairness. It gathered momentum. He managed to have John Romero on his stream as well, who popped in for a chat. He got a US Congresswoman, and also Grant Kirkhope, who actually voiced Donkey Kong 64 back in the day, who left a few messages. So this thing just went stellar over the weekend. So I just wanted to write. It just seems like such a nice turn of events from what was effectively a mud throwing campaign in the papers to remove funding from this charity, that the internet and gamers banded together and pretty much got them halfway back to their total of what they lost. So
that's just
fair
awesome.
Play to Harry.
Yeah, that's just absolutely fantastic. And it's good that kind of, like I say, all those people kind of dropping by or kind of spreading awareness, because I did see it kind of over the weekend. Kind of, you start seeing people. I think I follow Grant on Twitter and things like that, so you suddenly saw him kind of retweeting and talking about it, and then you did see it sort of start to spiral out. This is really it's such a great thing. So I guess he's finished now. He has.
Yep. He has. I can't remember what the quote is, but he's. I think he's having a rest for a few days before going back online. He said he didn't want to go for a world record, but he did have the odd toilet break and sleep break every now and again because he didn't think it would take that long or gain that momentum. So
that's good. You've got to have a sleep, got to have a snooze, got to have a power nap every now and then, haven't you?
Yes. So but it was bizarre because I don't think I heard anything about it, and then a few of my friends on Twitter over the weekend basically just ended up being glued to it.
Oh, right.
So Bomberguy just kept popping up in the feed. So popped in every now and again, but I must have missed the celebrity endorsements on the way. So
that's just so cool. That's fantastic. Superb.
That's great.
Next piece of news is with me, and it's kind of hard to follow that one. But the next piece of news is with me is about Anthem. So it's the Anthem demo is coming this weekend. So for anyone who has pre-ordered Anthem or who subscribes to EA Access or EA Origins on PC, there will be a VIP, I think they're calling it, demo will be available for Anthem. So EA have got out and they are basically talking about what that demo is going to be. And I heard this on another podcast, and I just thought it was really good to share with anyone who kind of listens to the Lost Spark podcast, because it's just really interesting of what you're going to get and also where it's going to put you and also the circumstance. Because this is a game very like, it's like Destiny, I guess, is the kind of easiest comparison. This is actually, the demo is going to drop you into the middle of the game. So you're not going to have any character creation, you're not going to have your pilot selection or the tutorial. You're just going to go straight into the middle of the game. So like I say, the director of the game, which is from BioWare, Mark Durar, said, so in the demo, we're just going no tutorials. The balance is kind of super different. Different. The economy is different to what you're going to get when you go live, and also there's they have been bug fixing this demo, but it's not the full version. So basically, it's just setting expectations, because they don't want people kind of jumping into quite an important game, really, especially as we were talking about with EA, where EA are right now, and also BioWare, they're coming off the back of Mass Effect Andromeda, which I've been very, I think I said in the last podcast, I've been very tempted to jump back into because I never really kind of played it. So they said it's only going to be one story arc, but there's some free play in there, similar to Destiny, where you can kind of go and get your engrams and stuff like that. So there's all of that's going to be in there. It's going to be available on PC, Xbox and PS4. So like I say, it's going to be, I think it's running over the weekend, and it's kind of starting, or it's available on the 25th, and it's out, I think it's out on the 15th of February, isn't it? Because I think it's
22nd. I just literally Googled that now because I was curious, because I didn't realise it was that soon.
Yes.
I thought this was another March release date, so they ain't got long.
No.
So I think they've made some very sensible decisions with this demo, though. The fact that you're going to jump in halfway through to show this powered up suit, this the key bits of gameplay, so you don't feel like you've just, this feels a bit weedy.
Yes.
It's like the start of Metroid, when you had all the weapons and then they took it off you. Like it's good to get that dose of what you could build to, because I guess it just builds the hunger more for when you actually do start it.
Yes.
But yes, it's like as we record this, it's a month to the day, this release. So that's coming around quick.
Absolutely.
That's coming around quick.
I think,
so I hope the stress test goes well for them.
Yes, indeed.
They've obviously got the background of Star Wars and Battlefield and what have you, so they're hopefully sharing some infrastructure between there. But every game is different.
Yeah.
Every game has a back end that is slightly different. So they might have the servers, but you've got to hope the services are actually, ready to go.
Yes.
And so at least they have some time to bolt this together.
Absolutely. I mean, I played the alpha, which they always kind of say don't talk about the alpha, but I played the alpha, and what I played was good. The fact they kind of jumping in and kind of feeling like Iron Man, that's kind of really kind of their IP for this game. It's like, right, you're in that mech suit. There's lots of different javelins. I think that's what they call the suits. There's kind of javelin suit, and one of them is very kind of, it's a very streamlined suit. So you do feel like Tony Stark. You do feel like Iron Man, and just having that, just kind of, if you kind of have Destiny and Iron Man together, that's kind of what Anthem feels like. And the the latest gameplay trailer that they released last week looked fantastic. Looked absolutely superb. So I can't wait to jump in. I'm on EA Access, so I'm going to jump in on Friday and just kind of check that out and just kind of over the weekend kind of have a bit of a play. But it looks really good. So like I say, Anthem's coming out on the 25th. But like I say, it just gets you straight into that action. So you don't have to spend all that time. And because if you imagine you just had like an hour to play and you jumped in and you are going through tutorials of going left, going right, looking up, looking down, it would kind of make you kind of almost come away feeling a bit meh. But if you actually start with a big battle, some games are doing that now, aren't they? Where you go into a game and the first thing that happens, you just go into a big battle, and then it pales back, and then Gears do that. Halo's done that before as well, and then it kind of takes you back, and then you almost stripped back, and then you get back to that awesome point.
Well, I think even if it's for the story itself, because that's what got me right into Halo from the start, because that first opening scene of Combat Evolved, where you're jumping through slip space, being chased by the Covenant, and it was like, what's going on? I need to know how we got here. What's going on? How's unfold? It basically boosts you in rather than trying to build it from start. It gives you that kickstart, the jump into the middle that makes you carry on.
Yes, indeed. So that's what we're going to get from this weekend's demo. So it'll be interesting. We'll report back on it next week. Are you thinking about is Anthem kind of sparking your interest? Are you thinking about kind of jumping in?
I am really flaky when it comes to the big releases. Like at the moment, I think the last year or so I almost need to see what I'm doing that weekend. And that sounds like really I'm washing my hair.
Yeah.
But I need to have a free weekend to make sure I can get into it.
Yes.
And if I don't tend to get it in the first weekend or two, I just forget about it. I'm quite fickle like that. I need to get it day and date, otherwise it probably ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
But I also know that several of us are talking about getting Division 2.
Yes.
So it sounds like Anthem and Division 2 operate in a very similar space. Mm-hmm. So I think there needs to be a chat on the WhatsApp about which one we're gonna invest in, because I can't see us doing both.
No.
And so is it worth the £60 to drop on both, or as you say, get the boomerang type thing? But yeah, I think this needs to be a hive mind decision, because I actually have been burned a little by Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Destiny was fine. I looked at the play count when PlayStation released their lifetime stats before Christmas. I have put a worrying amount of time into Destiny, considering how much I like it.
Yes.
Which is fine, but my play count says I absolutely adore that. And so I think I'm just been slightly burnt recently by the noble Space Marine.
Yeah.
And that, I know it's a completely different game, but it's put the dampeners on the thought of Anthem for me.
I totally agree. I think I've said before, like the last couple of weeks, where I want to go back to Destiny, especially when we were talking last week with Bungie kind of separating. I want to go back to Destiny, but I just can't. I think the last time I touched it was when we had our raid, that Sunday where we played all day.
My word,
and that was it. I just haven't been back since. It's just like, not that the raid broke me, but it was just like,
the raid broke me. That, like, it was. I mean, firstly, I also want to pay you credit, because I'm sure we haven't done enough, that you got things right so often in that raid that we then only realised about half an hour to an hour later Antony was right, which you would have saved us so much time if we just listened to you. But those dogs and the mist and the horns and the
bells
randomization, that broke me.
That was so funny. It was like, guys, what about if we go, like a little voice go, what about if we just go over there? Go, shut up, we're not doing that. That's not it. And it was like half an hour later, it was like, yeah, if we just go over there, but it was so much fun. It was good, and I really enjoyed it. But for some reason, I just haven't gone back. And I tried to go back the other day. I kind of fired it up, see what it looked like, kind of in Xbox One X enhanced, and I was just like, yeah, this is lovely. But then I just kind of went on to Forza, I think, went back to my happy place. So, yeah. I mean, I'm interested in Anthem just because I like science fiction, and I'm sure there's a bit of a single player in there as well. So just kind of jumping in. But I'm the same as you. I'd rather kind of jump in on Division 2, just because that's the trailer, the gameplay trailer they had for the new Dark Zone last week was really interesting. It looked like there was some really good changes to that, and so it looked it was intriguing, and it kind of brought back all of those nights of us kind of in the Dark Zone, kind of playing that, and just all the fun we had kind of during the betas and also the full game. So I think if I had to pick out out of the two of them, I think Division 2 is probably more for me, I think.
Yeah, I think that grounded reality is probably where I'm at the moment. I say grounded reality, it's the hit sponges and people with flamethrowers coming at you. But hey, it's probably more than space machines flying through things. But yeah, I think I'm more Division.
Yes, but it's a post-apocalyptic Washington where there's rubbish everywhere and it's just everything's gone to hell.
We're gonna drain the swamp.
So it's not far from reality right now, is it? It's just that's it. That's what Washington looks like right now. They could film like a live-action Division 2 right now, and it would be fine. They'll be able to do it. Superb. James, next piece of news says with you.
Yes, the next news story is with an online game as well. It is the unfortunate tale of Grapeshoot Games, who an offshoot of Ark developer Studio Wildcard. People might know Ark. It's the dinosaur online MMO where you get to befriend Triceratops and basically put armor on a Tyrannosaurus and run around as if it's your angry mount. So naturally, I've played it.
Yes.
Their pirates MMO, though, Atlas, is unfortunately having a bit of a hard time at the moment. And for the second time in less than a week, it's had to go offline. And this is a huge deal for an MMO, obviously, because if you ain't online, you ain't got players.
Yes.
But it's just the bizarre way that it's gone offline that has intrigued me. Because it's had some low-level hacking. I say low-level, but compared to what's about to be told. So they've had server status messages hacked that have had people encouraging to subscribe to PewDiePie and also announcing that the black butterfly strikes again. So there's some nefarious players just getting in there and basically using it as their own little message board. But they were also saying that was later down to an admin Steam account being compromised.
Oh, wow.
And steps have been taken to stop that from happening again. However, they've also had giant whales spawning out of nowhere and World War II tanks and planes just coming out of the ether down onto the players.
What?
Dragons being summoned into just like the mist of towns, and it's basically someone has figured out how to spawn NPCs, monsters, and all sorts is just going to town on them.
Oh my god!
Like there's a few interesting Twitch streams where you just see players as like bimbling around and then dragon, or like just going out to the whale.
As their player count increases, this bonkerness has happened.
I can only assume the share in the watch count has been passed around. So. There's a few videos on the Eurogame article that I'm reading from at the moment. They are saying this is another technical exploit, and this time round, no admin accounts were hacked to spawn these things. But it's bad. Like I feel really bad for these guys because this isn't the kind of thing you just let happen.
No,
like this is the kind of thing that there's a hole that no one has seen before, and so they're going to be drastically just spending hours trying to figure out how they're getting in there. So yeah, unfortunately this is twice in a week though,
right? And
the whale epidemic has only been shut down because the servers are offline.
Oh wow! So it's currently offline right now.
As of this morning, I think it was offline. I haven't checked the website today, but. I guess they've got to try and poke some more security onto the servers before bringing them back up.
Holy moly. Superb. Right, and then the last piece of news is with me, and that's a quick one. Just to say that tomorrow at 2 p.m. GMT, which is about 6 a.m. PST, Nintendo will be...
Animal Crossing!
No! It's an indie one. They'll be... Unless it's Animal Crossing ending? No. They announced today that they will be broadcasting an indie game-focused Switch presentation at 2 p.m. UK time, and it's going to focus on... I think they did one of these last year, so it's going to focus on all of those indie titles, those Nindy titles. So we've got Ollie Ollie Switch, and we've got lots of others that are kind of coming soon, as well as I think maybe there's one coming from Chucklefish as well. So there are some games that I think we've either seen be announced or have been in a list released. So hopefully this broadcast, there's no, in the news section that I'm looking at, there is no kind of length. We don't know how long this direct will be, but it's going to be kind of indie focused, and looks like it should be well worth a watch. So I think the podcast will probably go live after that has come out. So if you're listening to this now, go and check it out, because there's bound to be some great titles coming for Switch very soon.
Yeah, there's a couple on there that I played the bejesus out of Ollie Ollie when it came to the Vita.
Right.
I loved Tony Hawk's and the like back in the day, and Ollie Ollie was this really stripped back but stylish 2D skateboarding game that just worked really well on a portable system. So hopefully this gets it to a larger audience, because it's been a couple of years since Ollie Ollie 2, and I don't think it performed as well as they'd hoped. But I've heard a lot of good buzz about Slay the Spire as well, which I think is a card-based like adventure. So I think it's basically just like this constant runs. Here's your deck of cards. Go at this spire and see how far you get. So that interesting twist, and the fact that it's on the Switch, on the portable, that has my attention.
Yes,
it sounds like a game that you just want to be able to pause or flick a card up with a touchscreen. Sounds like it's going to suit it for me.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it's really good. And also the other one that I'm not even going to try and pronounce, is it like Piku Ninku? That looks quite interesting. That looks very interesting as well. So that's just a couple of the games that have been kind of teased along with this announcement. And also Chucklefish's Wargrove as well, which is kind of I think it's like a 16-bit kind of turn-based game from Chucklefish. So there's some really good stuff that could be coming, and things maybe that we don't even know that are coming. But this is, like I say, this is the indie one. This isn't that big one that we want to see with Animal Crossing. I daren't say it now, just like James just starts shouting Animal Crossing. So we've got Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion 3. This is the gear of the Switch for you, because I can't. I'm so excited. I can't imagine how much fun it's going to be when Animal Crossing comes out. When the full version kind of comes out on Switch. It's going to be amazing.
I just hope, can you imagine all of us just living together in a little village?
Yes.
Just a little spark community.
It's just going to be so happy. It'll just be so nice. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Animal Crossing.
The Nintendo's going to be good, because I'm sure that's where I found out about Dead Cells for the first time.
Yes.
Last time round. And just like this really slick roguelike that's just captured my imagination during the summer. And I think I'm just willing to give more things a go on the Switch, in the same way I used to give them wanting to give the indies more of a chance when I had the Vita as my active portable. Because I haven't really got my PC set up. I used my Surface for the Obra Dinn, but that was because I had to. I really wanted to play it, I had to there. But there's not many smaller games that I feel the need to then project to the telly, whereas the Switch is my avenue into that. So this is basically going to be my showcase for the year, going what can I get that is slightly left field, that isn't the AAA, that will fill me up for the summer and the autumn.
Yes. Between
Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion.
Yes. But I mean, the game that was announced last week, which I'm really looking forward to, the indie title I'm looking forward to, which was Defense Grid 2, is coming to the Switch. So they announced this week. They've been teasing for ages that there was going to be an announcement for Defense Grid 2, which is available on Xbox, and they announced that they're kind of bringing that to the Switch, and instantly both Nicola and I was like, yes, we need that game. We're going to go away for Nicola's birthday for a couple of days, so just that, just having Civilization 6 and Defense Grid 2 on the Switch, and Defense Grid 2 on the Switch would just be the perfect train game, because you'd just be able to, as you were saying with that other game, you're just getting your Switch out of your bag, instant on, trying to solve that puzzle that's maybe kind of driving you crazy whilst listening to a podcast or some music. I just love the idea of having Defense Grid on the Switch, and the same as you, it really has, the Switch has become what my Vita was. It's just, but this time you've got all those great first-party titles as well, all those Mario games, all those Luigi games, and Animal Crossing. You've got all of those in the mix as well. So it just it's just such a great. Whenever I go into London, whenever I go to Manchester, it's always the first thing that I kind of grab in my bag. So much so that I've got such a backlog of comic books, because I just get on the train and I play my Switch and I'm like, oh no, I meant to read those comic books, and I just buy more comic books, and it just kind of backs up, and now I've just got this.
When I was coming back from uni yesterday, the chap next to me on the train pulled his Switch out, and he was playing new Super Mario Brothers Deluxe,
right?
I think it was, and I had to do my best just to keep my eyes on my crochet rather than just stare at him playing. Like he died a few times, and I was desperately. You could see him like, just like sag. You could see the death screen come out, and I just wanted to keep watching, like going. You're right. I just want to watch it. I'm not judging you. I just want to watch how you do. I want to see how it plays.
Can I have a controller? You just almost want to go. Can I have a controller? Or what you should have done was told him to play it properly and play the Luigi version, because it's all in there. You kind of press. I think it's like on the main screen. You just press plus, and it turns into Super Luigi Brothers U, and you're just like, and you're suddenly playing as it's all green.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten that had come out as well. Was that this week?
No, it was about 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's been a while. But you can, like I say, you can instantly just play as Luigi.
Nice. That's why is this not on my
menu? Yeah, exactly. That's how it should be played. And with that, that's about it for this episode. Big thank you for listening. James, big thank you for pulling up on mic.
A pleasure, sir.
Thank you very much. Don't forget you can keep up with us at gamerslostspark.com. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter, we're at LostSparkPod. You can find us on YouTube and also on Gamers Lost Spark, PS4 Community and Xbox One Club. James, where can people catch up with you?
I am Big Sheep on Twitter, Xbox Live, PSN and Nintendo.
Excellent stuff. For me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch, PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network and Chessman UK on Twitter. Don't forget, if you have any feedback, please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamerslostspark.com. That's about it. Say goodbye, James.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I've got to say goodbye as well, because last week I didn't, and Steve told me off, so bye!
We'll fix that in post.
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah.
Can I eat my cookie now?